So today is the day that we begin the tiny house project. Dressed as dad as I can, and my dad and I are gonna start with placing the trailer. So hopefully you guys will have a good perspective on all the step-by-steps that happen when you're building a tiny house. And yeah, there he is. And so it begins. So now we're going to try to bring it down this small lane into its place. See, the first step really is to get where the center of the tiny house. So this going to be the main view because the trees here will kind of grow in with the leaves. So this gives you kind of an idea of where the wheel wells will be once they're on the cement pads. On the cement pads just so that they're stable. And then we'll lift up the trailer so that it can be leveled, and that's step one. See here, what we're doing is adding 8 blocks inside seam. These are 18 by 18, 2-inch thick cement blocks. Alright, so the first step is done, which is leveling off all of the blocks. So the next is to actually put some wood underneath. So the plan is to lift it off of the wheel so that the whole weight of the trailer is not going to be resting on the shocks, on the axles, but actually on the post, the 8 post that's going to be holding up the whole weight. The idea in here is that even though this one is pretty bang on with the blocks, we're going to tip it down so that we can then put a block underneath and then bring the tongue up just so that it starts lifting it off the tires. And this corner is going to be the first one to have the final pinning, and then we're going to do the other 8 blocks, but starting with this one. I'll just okay, I'm rolling. First adjustment that we see is that we have to go from side to side, starting from the back, moving to the front, because it twists a little bit, so we're going to make some adjustments, take the time it needs. Alright, so there you have it. We have the 8 blocks set, leveled. Kind of interesting learning about the metal and how it twists and bends. So it's leveled off as best as we can see it. I did see a bit of a crown happening with the trailer, which typical trailers have that crown so that it can take some more weight the longer it is. So yeah, it took about 3.5 hours to have the trailer here, set it up, mess around with it. It's kind of cool how you just use the front jack and then you use the 2 back posts to help with the pivot, and you just go back and forth with shims, and when everything is tight then you have to make a decision to just move forward, and that's what we've done. Time for some lunch. So one thing that we tried to think of is a lock that you can put on the hitch, so that at least there's some form of protection if somebody decides that they would like this trailer. We hope they don't, but anything that can deter them, or at least give them a little bit more time to attack it. So we'll see. Just better safe than sorry, and saying, well, we should have tried. So there you go. Alright, so something a little extra just to talk about. I ordered the trailer to be 100 inches wide. The maximum you can have before your trailer is oversized is 102 inches, makes it 8.5 feet wide. So the plan is that we're going to make the floor to go flush right against the corner as we need it, and then the walls will be retracted, or it will be kind of inside by 1 inch on each side, so that, say, the windowsill, once it's put in, the window's put in, is going to stretch out inside of that 102 inches, just so that the trailer can stay legal and not need special permits in order to be roadworthy. One thing that I've learned that I find a little frustrating is the trailer itself. The measurements are a little bit off, so the wheel wells one of them is a little longer than the other. So that means that measuring the lumber for this, you kind of need to be on the spot. So it would have been tough to measure out ahead of time, assuming that the trailer was a certain size all the way around. So the lesson, I guess, is when you do measurements, make sure that you measure against the physical objects that are around, which I guess that's why they say you measure twice. So once when you figure it, and then twice when you actually have it next to what it's going to be at. So anyways, a little jigging around, but that's okay. So anyways, we reassess and then cut accordingly, but so far so good. It's getting there. Also, we decided to build this first piece of subfloor right on the trailer itself. One thing that I'm doing different is I'm actually extending this tiny house frontage by about 1.5 feet to gain some. Alright, so we didn't get as far as we thought we were going to get today, but we got one section of subfloor. It's not bolted yet, so just the frame is made, and we made a few decisions, kind of a better idea on what we need to do. So going to my goddaughter's birthday, so it's going to be pretty awesome. And then I think it's supposed to rain next few days, so we just put this tarp on just in case, and hopefully we'll get at least one more day in, so we'll figure something out. So that's it for day 1 of Tiny Life.